All right, y'all. First and foremost, give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, Mashiach, who some call Yahweh, Yeshua, Yahushua, Yehoshua, Yashayah. We mostly know as Jesus Christ. Um, yeah, Elder Tahar back at me. You know, on the last, was it the last video I did? Yeah, it was the last video I did with um with Captain Tazariak. And this is gonna be a long one, y'all. We're gonna have to go through this video. We're gonna go through the video that he put up, and then we're gonna also do a lesson. It's only 7 slides. We're gonna do a lesson on hell. What is hell? Um, because there is this, I of course I believe, in an eternal damnation where people will be tortured and tormented forever, like the text says. And I was trying to give certain clues to my brother, but I like to start the video off just commending my brother in the services um, that the apostle has put in the work, for 20, 30 years. And I don't blame him. This is just the information that they had back in the day, and a lot of parroting and regurgitating some of the lessons that were taught. But man, we have so much information in front of us in our hands that we have access to, especially in this dispensation. Um, and things just need to be corrected. It's no fault at you. It's not your fault. It's just, we were misinformed. And things need to be updated. Things need to be checked. We need to do our checks and balances on some of these doctrines, because if you are a false teacher like Elder Tahar has claimed that I am, it's very problematic. You're gonna end up you're gonna end up in hell. And I ain't just talking about no grave. And so I had to go through this thing and break this thing down. um I had to break this thing. It says, come on now, where did you deduce that from? What, that it's a hell? Oh, you gonna see. Just stick along. Just hang along. Just hang with me. Hang with me through this thing. We gonna go through we got a lesson on hell. And matter of fact, after we're done, I'm gonna put the slides in the description for those that want them. Y'all can just look through it and go back over it, and then you can show me my error. But trust and believe, I'm not just up here just saying something, man. I'm not just up here. If I'm saying there's a hit, I'm not just saying that, brothers and sisters. And that's one of our problems, that we're teaching that it's not a hell. We're teaching that it's not a consequence for our disobedience. We could just go in and then we saying, I don't even want to get into that. But listen, man, there's nobody that looks like me. In my opinion, it's nobody that looks like me in better condition than the people that are over here. I ain't seen another country of people that look like me. It's just my opinion. In a better condition. I just seen some brothers running up to a taxi cab, selling what they call them things when they poke it, and they had the different meat and vegetables on it. It was just full of rats. It was full of rats, man. And they're selling this like it's a delicacy. But anyway, um, we're gonna get into that. But I want to go through Elder Tahar's video and some of the stuff that he said about me. But before that, again, I want to give the apostle his flowers. I love you, brother. I love GMS. But we got to get this thing together, man. Point blank, period. We got to get this thing together. You don't have 100% of the truth. Stop. You tripping. You tripping with that. And I love you enough to tell you. You're tripping, brother. um, and it is not your fault. You didn't have the information, but go back over the information, and we're gonna go through it. Like I say, and for those who come later, who watching later, if you just here for the slides and just stroll over until you start seeing the slides up, and then you can kind of start from there. He said, I still say, look, Elder Tahas in here already. It's okay, brother. I still love you. I still love you though. But let's go through this thing, and I hope you're here for the whole ride. Oh, hold on, y'all. I'm playing the thing. I ain't even shared it. Hold on. I gotta get me together. Hold on. Share screen. I ain't even went into it yet. It's something spiritual with the brother. Hold on.
Prince of Power is a false prophet.
Y'all see that? Y'all let me know if y'all can see that.
Anyway, this is a video that was put up by him, Prince of Power. This is Prince of Power right here. I believe he listened to when we started going on YouTube, GMS, IUIC. IUIC was on here a year before. IUIC came on YouTube 2006. And GOCC, I think they were on, I'm positive they were on YouTube during 2006. YouTube came on the scene in 2005. Now, I knew of YouTube and I knew of IUIC and GOCC being.
Give me a one if y'all can hear the video. You can see the video.
And it was like in my mind to whether we should put it on there or not. So in 2007, we decided, July of 2007, to put our first video up. So we're talking 2007, 17, 18, 19, 22,
all praises, all praises.
24, 25. We're talking about 18 years, going on 19 years on this particular platform. Anyway, through the years, you got a lot of guys, different Israelite groups, just popping out of nowhere. The various different names. Some of them got the 12 tribe sign, some of them got the fringes, some of them got the full garments with the fringes, some of them got t-shirts, which is another trend, t-shirts with fringes on it, or no tattoos, or sometimes
and that's a trend started with Bishop Nathaniel. And I feel like this is why these brothers hate this, because of their bitterness, whatever that bitterness is. And that bitterness gonna get you you're gonna be in that hellfire because you don't love your brother. And the scripture says if you don't love your brother, you don't love Christ. How can you love Christ when you have this disdain for Bishop Nathaniel? And I'm gonna be 100. What I feel is that this video really ain't even about me. It's about, because in this video I shouted out Captain Amaziah from IUIC Atlanta. I shouted him out, and this what really got him in his feelings. This really ain't about me. That's why I have no offense. I'm not offended at all. I know that this ain't about me. This is his bitterness with IUIC. And him being like, from what I've heard, Apostle was supposed to be, the leading man after the split happened. That he was the highest ranking official after the split happened. Give me a one, Elder Apostle Tahar. Put a one in the chat if that's true, so I can hear it out of the horse's mouth. That he had the highest rank coming out of once this split ended up happening. He had higher rank than General Yohana and Bishop Nathaniel. And they end up starting some 12 tribes camp, something like that, the 12 tribes. And they said, hey, man, we gonna wear fringes every day. That's how this ended up happening. And they were putting fringes on t-shirts because they wear them every day. They just don't wear them on the Sabbath and get out the car and unravel their garment. Let me let this thing play.
T-shirts with tassels. Some of them just dress as the world dresses. They might be more fashionable. They might wear the fitted, which is ridiculous. You might have the fitted cap, might be the New York Yankees or the Mets or Boston Red Sox or whatever. So you got that on with long dreads or braids down to your back, and you might have a hoodie on top over that with either fringes or not fringes or tassels. So you got a lot of groups that's propped up. They started watching maybe IUIC, GMS, ICBK, different camps, that the ones that I just mentioned. AOC was another one. Lions of Israel was another one, which these individuals are former, One West people like LOI and AOC. I haven't seen them out there. I don't know what they're doing.
Fair use.
Platform still out there. The scriptures say endure He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. You know, it's all about doing his work because of the fear of the Most High. So anyway, you got a lot of these groups just popped up by watching the various different former One Westers, and I believe he's one of them. And he's got his own thing. He's not following GMS because he wouldn't have these long dreads.
I'm following everybody. Yeah, I'm following everybody. I'm a student of everyone. And I kind of, he's telling the truth. That's pretty much the history. IUIC had some of the better videos, but it was this other brother I told you, Yasha Ralam or something like that. He done got into some other stuff, but he was doing some of the best videos at the time. And it just kind of, it's kind of evolved to where it is now, when we're doing lives and all of this stuff. That stuff wasn't there back in it. And you had to watch the video because there wasn't a lot of them. So you watched the whole video. You wasn't just, oh, let me find the part and let me sit through no, you had to sit through the lessons. You had to sit through and you had to because it wasn't nothing else. You just had to glean from what you can glean from. He mentioned I don't think he mentioned HOI, but they was out there too doing videos back in the day. But yeah, he's I agree with him thus far.
And I believe he started on the street, but he's kind of a commentator for it. It's like we call him Wendy Williams.
Call me Wendy Williams.
Anyway, I said he was a false prophet. Prince of Power is a false prophet, and the Lord is not dealing with him. And I'll tell you why. I don't listen to him enough, but I caught him making a statement. And this is this poison that been swept under the rug for I don't know how long. Inside joke. This guy teaches that there's an actual hell, and I believe he got it from the IUIC, which there's no such thing as an eternal hell. That proves either one or two things, that Bishop Nathaniel either sold out or Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not dealing with him. The Yahweh Shem Yahushua didn't open up.
That's what I'm saying. Why Bishop even being mentioned in this video? And I'm telling you, it's this bitterness and it's eating at him. And you need to sit down. If you still watching, you need to sit down with Bishop Nathaniel. You need to sit down with him because it's eating at you. He ain't studying you, but it's killing you. It's stressing you out. It's defiling you. And when that bitterness gets to the point where it's defiling, man, you got an issue out. You got an issue, and it's not just you. Some of these other leaders have this beef, whatever y'all had going on, whatever it is, I don't know. Though. Bishop Nathaniel knows, General Yohana knows. And y'all need to stop, man. Y'all too old for that, man. Y'all elders, you're supposed to be elders, leaders in this community, setting certain examples. Instead, you sitting up here beefing. We up here gangs, and we Bloods and Crips. And we can't just sit down and have a dialogue. We could have just sat down and had a dialogue on hell. You could have just did a lesson on hell like that, And you could have sat down with Bishop. But y'all done made it this beef where now this brother gotta be sitting and he done sold out to the man. This sounds ridiculous, man. Especially when you saying and then I know, like, what? I sold out to the man. What are you talking about? Y'all like just giant conspiracy theorists. He sold out to the man, so now he got to teach the hell is the lake of fire. What are we doing, man? What are we doing here?
Besides, well, how do you know all those breakdowns? He memorized them from being at the One West. Now, the One West never taught about the MOTB and all this, and well, hell came up by Shia, and mainly Shia. He used to bring it up every couple of years, and he used to get shot down. He waited a couple of years, bring it back up, and eventually he fell out. Jaya and Gazak is back in the world.
Jaya and Gazak, and that's what I love about the elders. I want to hear the history. I want to hear the history of these doctors. But a lot of times when they was in that, they couldn't come up with a certain. I think he left because of a difference in doctrine of Cornelius. on if Cornelius was a Gentile or Israelite. I think that's why he severed, from what I've heard. I don't know you if you're in the building, Tahar, because you was in here earlier. Put a one in the chat, give us confirmation on that. But I would love to sit down, just hear the history with some of the elders, because that's what we got to get down to the bottom of. We got to get to the bottom of that, because it's just bitterness. It ain't got nothing to do with me. This between you and IUIC. Let me let this thing play.
If they don't repent, if the Most High ain't dealing with them, and if they're not of the elect, they're going to take the microchip, provided that they're still alive, and they're going to die here in America. So anyway, I said I wasn't going to make this long. So this is what this guy said. So you want to follow him and be condemned, you go be my guest. Let me come back over here.
Why you feel like they hoes? And the sister said, hey man, these are strippers. And then on the other end, what?
Yeah, this, if you watch this whole video, it's about a sister that called Captain Tazariak about a brother having more than one wife. I think 4 wives. And she was one of them. She got with it, I'm with that thing, but now she don't like it because I guess he's dealing with strippers or whatever. Now, if I was in his shoes and you had went up behind my back to tell somebody of a higher rank about this thing to get me in trouble, I'll cut you off in a heartbeat. I said, bitch, get out, back your shit, you're out of here. And if you marry somebody, you can't marry nobody, because if you do, you commit adultery.
See? And that's what I picked from. That's how I learned your doctrines. See, I know where y'all sit with that now. Hey man, you can't remarry. And I agree with that. Not a lot of people agree with that, but I agree with that. And that's interesting that you said. He gonna also say some other problematic things though. Let's continue.
So this is why we don't stress these goddamn women, all right? I mean, you got some of the sisters that follow us, which is beautiful. But some of them are demons too. So listen up.
What is the captain expected to do?
What is the captain expected to do?
Throw you out of the school? Just throwing him out of the school like I make him sick. It's just watching my videos, rouse his spirit. Like, what is going on, man? Oh man, I done. Hold on, y'all. Fear of the getting thrown out the school.
Oh, I got news for you guys. All the women that you're dealing with are hoes. Period.
All these women hoes, according to the apostle. Dr. Horse. And it possibly could, because like I say, these people fear the Lord. They fear man more than they fear the Lord. They fear
the Lord, D Lord.
Fear man more than they fear the Lord. He corrected me on y'all. They fear the judgment of men. When I say judgment of men, they fear little videos like this. They don't want, but they'll threaten your life. Doing a little video like this because they don't want to get seen a certain way in the months of men. They don't care what the Lord see. And it's probably a lack of faith. They don't really believe. Honestly, truly.
The majority, 95% of Israelites out there are zombies.
I hear teaching ain't no eternal damnation, ain't no hell, ain't nowhere that burns forever for eternity. We got to talk about that, y'all.
No, we don't got to talk about it. We don't got to talk about it. There's nothing to talk about.
Men, yeah, we gonna talk about it. He don't want to talk about it, but we gonna talk about it. I don't care. They don't want to get seen a certain way.
So my question is this: where did he get this from? Like, I believe he watched IUIC, ISUBK.
You ain't gotta believe. Yes, I watched everybody. I still watch everybody. That's how I seen you do the video. I'm subscribed to everybody. Well, I'm not subscribed to this channel. This was a new channel. I only went here because I was trying to figure out who that was in my messaging me about who the beast is. I'm like, who is messaging me about the beast? And found out it was you. And you doing a video. You was live at that doing a video. It's crazy.
Tahar of GMS, this group, that group. And he said, Bishop Nate said something about there is a hell 2.5, 3 years ago. I'm going to start believing it because that's Bishop Nate. And if mighty IUI,
Y'all, how many darn videos I done did rebuking IUIC? How many videos I done did rebuking ISUPK? I kind of left GMS alone, you know, because I felt like I was being a bully. Just be 100. Something in my spirit said, nah, just let them breathe for a second. Especially, what was that brother, the biblical defender? I was going back and forth with him, and it just got to the point he ended up blocking me. I was like, you know what? Let me stop doing that. Let me stop going back and forth with them. I kind of let you breathe, but I guess that was to lead us to this point.
IUIC is going off. They go off on a lot of things. They tell people to keep the law. They don't even know the laws. How you going to tell somebody to keep the law when you don't know the laws? And you don't keep the laws. First off, you don't keep the Sabbath correctly.
Men, they don't care what the Lord see. And it's probably a lack of faith. They don't really believe. Honestly, truly. Brothers out here teaching ain't no eternal damnation, ain't no hell, ain't nowhere that burns forever for eternity. Let's just go ahead and get into that. I can see y'all a little fiery in that chat about that this hell conversation.
Bottom line is,
let's just go ahead and get into the hell situation, y'all. How about that, y'all? Give me a 1 if y'all can see the presentation. Give me a 1 if you can see the slides. It's gonna be very quick. It ain't much to it. Give me a 1 in the chat if you can see the slides. All praises, all praises. All right. And so what y'all have been taught is some half truths. All right, partial truths. Okay. Yes, it's a grave. Yes, it's defined as a grave. Yes, it's defined as a pit. And it's also defined as a place where the wicked goes forever. You can't just take one portion or one verse or one definition of the words. All right, what is hell? Luke 12 verse 5. It says, but I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him which after he have killed have power to cast into hell. After he have killed. Fear the Lord who has the power to, after he have killed, to cast you into hell. Yeah, I say unto you, fear him. All right, fear him that can cast you into hell. Now, if hell is just a grave here, I can throw you in the grave. I can kill you and throw you in the grave. But it's telling you not to fear man. It's telling you to fear him that after he done killed you, he can throw you. He has the power to cast you into hell. Do I have the power? Or this verse saying that we both have that power, that the Lord has that? Because he's not saying fear man. But I know that's not enough for you. Okay? We know that's not enough. Now, Gehenna. All right, that's the first word we're going to deal with. All right, Matthew 5:21 through 29. It says, ye have heard that it was said unto them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. You shall be in danger of hellfire. What is hellfire? What is hellfire? What is that? Now let's go there. Let's go to Matthew 5 and let's look at that word Gehenna. We're going to look at all of them. All right. And if you don't know, there's 4 words. There's 4 words that's being translated into hell. If you don't know. We're going to talk about all 4 of them. We're going to look at all 4 of them today. Where were we at with that? 21 through 29. Linear here, we're gonna go to hell. What did the Gehenna here used? All right, they're gonna go here. All right, you see it's used 9 times for hell and 3 times for hellfire. All right, hell is a place of future punishment called Gehenna or Gehenna of fire. This was originally, see, this is where y'all getting tripped up at. And y'all don't realize that One West it stems from Old Testament only. Old Testament only. They brought those teachers. So Old Testament brother is gonna say, well, no, it doesn't exist. You go, it's just a grave. It's just where you go down, just like the Sadducees. Sadducees didn't believe. They believed that, man, you die and that's it. You got to live your life now. You got to live the good life now. Ain't nothing after this. All right. Hell is a place of future punishment called Gehenna, Gehenna of fire. This was originally the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem, where the filth and the dead animals of the city were cast out and burned. A fit symbol, a symbol of the wicked and future destruction. A symbol for the wicked and their future destruction. Hell is a place of future punishment. Gehenna, a valley of Jerusalem. All right. And see, that's why y'all getting tripped. Oh, man, it's just a valley. It ain't just a valley. That's what that was originally used. But it's symbolic. It's a metaphor. It's a typology used figuratively as a name of a place or state of everlasting punishment. Of everlasting punishment. Y'all got to deal with that. You got to deal with that. That's just Gehenna. That's just one of 4. Deriving from Chaldee. Do we got anything else? Gehenna, the name of the valley of southeast, yet apparently beginning on the west of. So yeah, Old Testament. Originally it was used for describing this valley where they, all of these dead animals, maimed animals, they would burn them. And they metaphorically are speaking of this as in the New Testament, specifically, symbolically as that future destruction for the wicked. Hold on. It says the wages of sin is death. We will not live forever if we wicked. No. The tormented forever means we living forever. Nah. You're gonna be tormented forever in hell. You're gonna be tormented forever in hell. But let's go here. I think that's a conversation that you having with the other brother. But let's go back. Let's go back here. And I told y'all, man, this Strong's is not your friend, man. This Strong's is not your friend. And I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't even share. I wasn't even sharing the screen with y'all. I wasn't even sharing the screen. Hold on. Let me go back to it. I wasn't sharing the screen, but y'all can go to the Strongs. Y'all know how to do that. Go to the Strongs. It was kind of at the bottom here. But that's what we were reading. We're reading the biblical usage there. All right. Valley of Jerusalem, figuratively a name, a place of a everlasting punishment. Hell. All right. A filth, dead animals. Well, hell is a place of the future punishment called Gehenna, Gehenna of fire. This was originally the valley of Hinnom, south of Jerusalem, where the filth and the dead animals of the city were cast out and burned. A fit symbol for the wicked and their future destruction. Okay, symbolic for the wicked and their future destruction. And that's how it was originally used, but it's not used that way now. It's used in a way that's speaking on that future destruction, future judgment of the wicked. Hold on, let me go back to my Let me go back to my slides. Um, it says first be reconciled. Okay, thou fool, and then I want to speak on that too. All the name and the ad hominems and so forth. Whosoever shall say to his brother Rakah shall be in danger of the council. Whosoever call his brother a fool shall be in danger of hellfire. You got to be careful with calling these names, throwing these names around, and it's jesting. I might have to do a lesson on that, the jesting and the cussing and so forth. You got to be careful with that. You're going to be in danger of hellfire. Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remembers that thy brother have aught against thee, leave thy gift before the altar and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother. You need to be reconciled to Bishop Nathaniel before you try to bring any altar, anything to the. You need to be reconciled back to General Johanna and what the Elder Rakah. Then come back and offer thy gift. Agree with thine adversary quickly, while thou art in the way with him. All right. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou is in the way with him. You know, and y'all go back and watch that debate with that brother Dave, and Captain Tazaryak on who salvation is for, or two views on salvation. And when he was reading that, go not into the way of the Gentiles nor the Samaritans, he tried to say that go not into the way of the Gentiles was don't go into their then go into their ways. Don't be like the Gentiles. And you see here, whilst thou art in the way with him. Is that the ways that he has? No. That meaning that you are in the same area that he's in. You need to go make and reconcile with him. Anyway, that was just a side note. At least at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast in prison. Verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing, till you paid every penny. You have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. Same word, Gehenna there, that your body will not be cast into hell. It's better that you just go ahead and pluck one of your eyes out, cut your arm off, so your whole body don't get cast into eternal judgment. Matthew 10 verse 27 to 28 says, what I tell you in darkness, that ye speak in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. And fear not them which can kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So your soul get destroyed in the grave. Is that does the soul decompose in the grave? Where is this both soul and body in hell? Where is that? Where it can be destroyed at? And again, fearing him who has the power to do this. I have the power to throw you in the grave, but I don't have the power to destroy your soul and body and cast you into hell. I don't have that power. Only the Most High has that. Matthew 24 verse 44 through 46, it says, then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee in hunger or thirst, or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then says he unto shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. What is everlasting punishment? What is that? What is that? You ain't got to call it hell. What is it? Put whatever word you want to put on it. What is that everlasting punishment? And that's why I tried to give you a clue when I was saying it. Everlasting punishment, eternal damnation. Trying to give you a little clue so we wouldn't have to get to this point. But after you die and you're wicked, you're gonna have an everlasting punishment. You ain't gonna get reincarnated and brought back and wake up in the kingdom. This don't make no sense. And we can get into that too. We'll get into the reincarnation. If you can't wait though, go look at a debate between Elder Yara versus Captain Tazaria. That's what made me let it go. I started checking those verses back. Oh, I said, wait a minute, that don't say that. Anyways, it's once for a man to die and then he's judged. Period. And he don't get to come back. Stop playing with this thing. That's what I'm saying. Y'all don't fear the Lord. That's if and the soul will go back to Yahweh or Yahweh or Yahuwah if he wants it. But just like we were reading those texts, he can destroy you. He has the power to destroy that soul. We just starting, y'all. We ain't even touched the iceberg. Make it bigger. Make the text bigger. Okay. Okay, I just gotta make sure I can figure out how to get out of there. Can y'all see that? Hold on, let me go. Okay, yeah, y'all can see that. All praise. See, that was the spirit. What was it? This is where we was at. Revelation 14:9 through 12. He says the third angel followed them, saying with a loud and we gon' I'm gonna put the slides in the descriptions after we do this video. The slides will be in the descriptions for y'all to download and you do whatever you want to do with them. You ain't gotta mention my name. I ain't come up with this. All right, I just ain't this Brother Phoenix breakdown. You teach it how you teach. You ain't gotta mention me. All right, it's gonna be the slides will be in there, and you do what you want to do to them, and take out what you want to take out, and build your own slides, and teach it the way you want to teach it, the way the Spirit leaving you to teach it, rather. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead," I thought Elder Tahar, I thought you would love this part. I thought you been here loving this part, just grinning face to face, cheek to cheek, marking his forehead or in his hand. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture, straight up, straight wrath, no mixture to it, no cut, ain't no cut on this liquor, into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented. Wait a minute, he shall be. Oh man, see, that's what I didn't want to do. Hold on, can I go back? Oh man, hold on, y'all. Look at the Lord. Yes, sir. All right. Wait. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels. Those who take that wrath, they're gonna be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night. You in there forever. Your flesh burning forever. No rest day or night. I don't know what y'all. I have no idea what y'all reading, man. Well, y'all feel safe to say it ain't no judgment. Ain't no. We just gonna die and then we gonna resurrect and be in the kingdom. I know one brother. I ain't gonna put his name out there. One camp leader, he teaches that the least in the kingdom is you just gonna be in the kingdom with your head down, looking sad. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast in his image, and whoever receiveth the mark in his hand. And then listen to this thing again. You know, we did the lesson on the Revelation 13:10. He says, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus." That patience is those who's going to endure these things. Those who's going to endure and not receive the mark and not bow down to the beast in his image. It's like that Revelation 13:10. It's them. That faith, that patience, and faith of the saint. No, that's you enduring and having faith in the Lord that He gonna bring you out of it. But you in total persecution. This ain't man. That's what we waiting for. This what we patiently waiting for to go to take them in the cap. That ain't what that's saying. You're patiently waiting and being faithful to the Lord in the midst of total persecution. 2 Thessalonians 1 verses 7 through 9, it says, and to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Jesus shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels in flaming fire, taking revengeance on them that know not God and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. Y'all don't know the gospel. I'm tell you, y'all don't know the gospel. GMS, y'all don't know the gospel. Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power. What is everlasting destruction, everlasting punishment, everlasting torment, being tortured day and night for the rest of your life, forever, tormented in front of the angels and the Lamb. What is that? What do y'all call it? What do y'all call it? Hades. Hades, Luke 16, verse 27 through 31. It says, then he said, I pray thee, therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. All right, this is the story of Lazarus. All right, this is that story of the rich man and Lazarus. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. Abraham saith unto him, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear him. Let them hear them. And he said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto them, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. And this, I'm gonna tell you this too, y'all. This is what I've learned in this dispensation, man. This period that I'm in, man. You can't listen. It's in the scriptures. You can't pour new wine into old skins. You can't pour new wine into old skins. People gonna be fighting against this thing, even though it's clearly in their face. But you can't do nothing about it. They gonna end up bursting. They gonna end up hating you. They end up calling you a false prophet. If you can't pour new wine into old skins. You just gotta let them sit out there. And I'll be wondering, I'm like, man, why these elders don't get up and do these debates and get up and talk to these folks and try to defend the gospel. They say they got the truth. Why they ain't up trying to defend it? But they can't. They locked in. They veiled. They're blinded until the time of the Gentiles come in. They can't even eat that. Anyway, let's go here to that Hades. All right, let's see what that means. What is it? Luke 16. What is that? Luke 16, 27. All right, y'all. Share this tab instead. Luke 16. Why these elders don't get up and defend themselves? Joker's running away from vocab. What's going on? Man, vocab, I seen the latest video, vocab all the way in London. I'm gonna tag y'all on that too. Since we back. I try to give you a break, but since we back, yeah, I gotta tag you in that too. Vocab all the way out there in London and y'all running. And you running from scriptures. You ain't running from vocab. You running from scriptures. Anyway, Luke 27. Let me read a little more up so y'all know what's going on. Because it's a lesson in here. Okay, and there, verse 20 says, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. And this is an analogy also that you need to be applying also to the woman. who said, "Can I get the crumbs from the master's table?" Like it's still, the dogs still get the crumbs from the master. It was the rich man desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. You ain't got to sit me at the table. Just let me get the crumbs. All right. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. In it's science that dog saliva has healing properties in it that could heal those sores. But even more so, the better lesson here is that even the dogs had more compassion on Lazarus than these humans, these Pharisees, clothed in purple and dressed and fared scrumptiously every day, and in that fine linen. Anyway, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried, and and in hell he lifted up his eyes. Like, come on, y'all. Is he in the grave like full of dirt and he lifting up his eyes? And I know that this is an analogy, an allegory, a parable. This is a story. This didn't really happen, but who knows? Could have happened. But the way he's giving this is they giving him a story. And see of Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom, and he cried and said, "Father Abraham, have mercy on me." And send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in the water and cool my tongue, for I'm tormented in this flame. Where is he at? There flame in the grave? Is it fire there? When you burying your parents, when you burying your loved ones, is it fire in the grave? When you look down in there, you see fire? And y'all don't get simple, guys. I know if you dig deep enough, yeah. You dig to the core of the earth, yeah. You'll see some fire, but there's fire in this thing. There's fire in this grave. And I'm gonna explain something to y'all too here. Hold on. It came to pass that the beggar died. And likewise Lazarus evil things, but now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you, there's a great gulf fixed, great distance. Where we need to get that? We need to get that. We need to get that Hades. Hold on, let me go back, y'all. From the dead. At least he come in torment. Is that it? 28. Hold on. And because he doesn't believe in, look at my brother. He say, because he doesn't believe in reincarnation. This is why. Like, why do you get reincarnated? And I put the link out there. You can come on and just explain to us how do you get reincarnated, and then what you come back and you back in the same place. So you've been reincarnated for 2,000 years, and you just woke back up into captivity. Or if you do good, what is there a judgment? It said you only judge once. Anyway, I ain't gonna get sidetracked. We'll do reincarnation. Hit the like, subscribe button, and we'll open up for reincarnation and deal with what we saying here. Don't deal with we talking about Lazarus right now. He's somewhere where he's getting tormented. Not Lazarus, but the rich man. He's somewhere he's getting tormented. He just want to just a drop of water hit his tongue. Where is that at? Answer that. You talking about reincarnation? Answer that, man. What I was looking for? Oh yeah, the beggar died, rich man. For I'm tormented in this flame. Abraham said, likewise. It may not be here. It may not be in this verse yet. I got him coming though. Don't worry. I'll just come back. I'll come back. Share this tab instead. Because there's supposed to be some more verses here. But we'll see. Oh no. Oh no. No, we got to go back. Where are my verses for Hades? Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure I put them in the slide. We might have lost them verses. We might have lost them. Hold on, Hades. Man. Okay. But in Hades, he was tormented. Then said, I pray thee, therefore, for. Okay. That was one of them, but we got to find them other ones. Anyway, we'll come back. We'll come back to Hades. Did I have it here? Oh, no. We'll come back to Hades. I want to, but I know it's dealing with, hold on. I know it's in Isaiah 5:14. We'll just go there. Isaiah 5:14. Hold on. This is one we use all the time too. Isaiah 5:14. And hell enlarge of herself. This is one of the main ones. Nope, that's Sheol. All right, never mind. All right, that's Sheol. All right, let's just go. We're going to come back to Hades, though. We ain't going to leave Hades. I got to just find a verse with the Hades. And I know it's in that passage, but I don't want to spend too much time trying to find it in that Lazarus passage. Let's go to this one. Tartarus. Yeah, something happened to my verses, man. Tartarus. And I should have highlighted. It says, 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 through 22. It says, for if God spared not the angels that sinned. In this one, we be running from this one. If God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell. Bro, man, them ain't really angels right there. That's the messengers. Okay. All right. I ain't mad at you for that. Cast down to hell and delivered them into the chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. All right. And delivered them. He cast them down into hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. That's the grave. Hold on. Let's go there and look at that verse. What is that? 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. All right, this is hell here. So we got what we went over Gehenna. We got to come back to Hades, and we over Tartarus right now. A hell called Tartarus. It is the word used here. Where is it at? But cast them into the chains of darkness. Here we go. Cast them into hell. It says this is the name of a subterranean region, doleful and dark, regarded by the ancient Greeks as the abode of the wicked dead, where they suffer punishment for their evil deeds. It answers to Gehenna of the Jews. It has the same kind of reverence and application as the Gehenna for the Jews. Just like the Jews had a place that they call that translated into hell. A place where, you know, the animals and stuff were killed and continue to be burned. And I had read somewhere, man, there was so many sacrifices done every day that you could smell that place, you know, from miles before you get there because of the stench of the animals and the sacrifices. Anyway, Side note. But it has that same application where originally it was used for this particular region, but it ended up developing and being used for a place of eternal damnation or eternal judgment of those of the wicked, where they suffer punishment for their evil deeds. To thrust down to Tartarus, to hold captive in Tartarus. It says to, look at this here, this is the definition, to incarcerate in eternal torment, cast down to hell. To incarcerate in eternal torment. What is that? What is that? What is that? There's another verse saying too, saying we will judge the angels. Where do we you say the angels don't die? Like, man, even in that verse, you know, it said they will be cast into judgment and wait on they'll be cast into darkness. Hold on, let me bring it back. Oh, I didn't even show y'all the Strongs. Hold on, y'all. Let me show y'all the Strongs first. So you don't think I'm lying, but y'all can go there. Y'all know how to use the Strongs. All right. See there? The deepest abyss of Hades. Incarcerated in eternal torment, cast down to hell. Okay, I got the verses. I got some of them verses written down for. Well, no, that may be Sheol. We gonna get into it though. We definitely got to find them verses for Hades. Hold on, we ain't finished yet though. You're cast in the darkness to bring in the flood upon the. Hold on. All right. It says, hold on, let me share that tab again. It says, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. All right. So this isn't, they're reserved unto a judgment. And there's a verse in there where Paul says, man, you know that you will even judge the angels. And so, you know, once judgment hit these angels, even if we're saying that these are angels, you know, brothers will say, okay, well, maybe they messengers, or they, you know, it's just another term. But even if you went with the whole angel situation, it's not saying that, you know, that they're dying at this particular moment. But I don't know if you could say that the angels can't be killed. Most High destroy, he created, he can destroy it. You know, that's how I put it. If he created it, he'll destroy it. And like I say, it's a lot of stuff that goes with that, man. It's with the whole Book of Enoch and the fallen angels situation. But there are a couple verses that are problematic. This is one of them. Another one is with the angels with the head covering and the angels looking down. This is a couple of verses that are problematic. I'm not into the Enoch situation. I ain't, you know, but I can be, you know, honest with the text and say, well, there's a couple of verses here that look like it's talking about some darn fallen angels. But we'll get that's something different. We'll get into that another time. And delivered into the chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah and 8 persons, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example. Oh, man, I messed that up. Making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. All right, he's using Sodom and Gomorrah as an example for those who live wickedly. How you gonna live after that? And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly. Sodom and Gomorrah is an example of where you gonna be. Well, tell me I'm bugged out. I'm bugged out. And deliver just Lot, vexed with filthy conversations of the wicked. For the righteous man dwelleth among them, and seeing and hearing, vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the ungodly out of temptations. Yeah, we got to keep reading this. And to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. How did you get punished? You reincarnating. What was your punishment? Brothers coming out here being even more wicked. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government, presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities, whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusations against them before the Lord. Now, are you gonna say these angels right here in the same chapter are a different angel than we read in the beginning of verse 4? You willing to say that, or are you willing to say that these are different angels? Well, that's that angel right there in chapter 4 is that, and then this angel down here, I'm just saying it's problematic. This is just some stuff we just gotta look at. I ain't saying I got that. I'm just saying this is what's gonna have to happen. You're gonna have to make this angel different from this angel. All right. Whereas angels which destroy, and they may be different words. I ain't even looked into it. I'm just off of me reading it right now. I'm just showing you how my brain works. Uncleanness and despise government, presumptuous. They are self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusation against them before the Lord. See, these angels are going before the Lord, and they dare not to do that, to go get to bring an accusation before the Lord. But these are natural. These are as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed. Speak evil of things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness. What is the reward? What is the reward of unrighteousness? If it ain't eternal torment by fire, what is the reward for the unrighteous? They get to live again, as they count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are in blemishes, sporting themselves in their own deceivings, while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery, cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children, which have forsaken the right way, and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam, son of Bozor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his iniquity. The dumb ass, speaking with a man's voice, forbade the madness of the prophet. These are wells without water, clouds that are carried up with the tempest, and to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. All right, whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. What is that? For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness. Those that were clean escape from them who would live in error. And that's what you need to get out of these things. You know, those who are clean, those who are righteous, you need to get away from these people. And if I would have kept playing the video, we gonna come back to the video, but I just seen y'all kept trying to, you going in on the topic of the hell. So I just went on and started doing the lesson. But you'll see in there where he's gonna justify prostitution. He's going to justify, sleeping with whores. And just kind of went with that. Not listening to these folks who gonna lead you into the lust of the flesh. Wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error, while they promise from them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. They promise you freedom. They promise you that the year 2000 that Yahweh was gonna come down and free us and put our enemies into captivity. But they still enemies to their flesh. They're still servants. They're still captive to their flesh. That's the captivity that you need to be worried about. Yeah, you need to leave that Revelation 13:10. You need to be worried about the captivity of your flesh. And you being servants and slaves to your flesh. That's what you need to be worried about. I'm spending all this time on the Edomites and worry about your flesh. That's who you captive to. What was it, verse 18? For when they speak of great swelling words, they allure those through the lust of the flesh, through wantonness. Those who were clean, those that were clean, escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption, of whom a man is overcome. Of the same is he brought in bondage. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse than from the beginning. It was best that you never knew him. For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it's happened unto them according to the true proverb: the dog is turned unto his own vomit again, and the pig that was washed to her waddling in the mirror. All right, the pig returning back to the mud after it's been washed. I ain't even see down here that it's a darn little button for me to go back and forth. Sheol. Let's look at the word Sheol here. This Amos chapter 9 verse 2. All right, these are a lot of these Old Testament verses. It says, though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. All right, though they climb up to heaven, then I will bring them down. Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. All right, let's go here to Amos 9. And we'll look at the word Sheol. We done did what? We did Gehenna. We did Sheol. Well, we doing Sheol. We got to come back to Hades. And we did Tartarus. Tartarus. All right. Hold on. Let's go here. Verse 2 here. Okay, my bad, y'all. I was passing it. And share this tab with y'all. All right, Sheol. All right, now you see here. I want to show y'all something. I want to teach y'all something about this blue letter today. I want to teach y'all about this blue letter today. You don't get to choose, y'all. I know you think you get to choose. These definitions right here, you don't get to choose these. These definitions are outlined in some of these lexicons on, what this is. You see that says underworld? All right. And then everything close to that, everything by this is the verses used for that. Hold on. Is underworld the first one? Yeah, underworld is the first one. So you'll have like Isaiah 14, hell from beneath is moved from thee to meet thee. That's going to be connected to your underworld. Sheol, grave, hell, pit. That's going to be connected with that. Well, you see it here, underworld. And then these are all the verses that are connected to the underworld. Man descendeth unto death. This is all the verses connected to the man ascended with death. All right. Condition of righteous or wicked distinguished in. There goes 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 8. The wicked, righteous shall not be abandoned. Later distinction of places, figurative, extreme degradation, going into, being in a lower state. All right. It says, when thou wentest to the king with ointment and didst increase thy perfumes and didst send thy messages far off and didst debase thyself even unto hell. Okay, you brought yourself down to a lower state. You don't get to pick and choose. You don't get to go to Ethnos and try to it can mean anybody. It's already broken down. Sheol, underworld, grave, hell, pit, underworld. Sheol, the Old Testament designation of the abode of the dead, a place of no return, without praise of God, wicked, sent there for punishment, righteous, not abandoned to it, place of exile. Hades, okay, you got Hades here too. Let me see. Is that what we want? No, that's y'all. All right, but we got to find that Hades. We got to find those verses there for that Hades. Hades, or the world of the dead, including its accessories and inmates. Hell, grave, pit. Why does it use hell, grave, pit? And I'm gonna show you that when they're translating this, when they're translating the text. Make sure y'all with me. Okay, y'all going in on Enoch. Y'all go, I told y'all the Enoch situation. I ain't really, uh, I still got to put that in the fire to see what I need to purge out. But I'm just telling you that I'm just saying that there are some verses in there that kind of go with Enoch. I know some of the things I done looked a little bit. Some of the issues where I think it was trying to make Moses the Messiah. It was pointing to Moses being the Messiah or something. No, Enoch. They made Enoch the Messiah in the book of Enoch. That was doctrinally problematic. From what I've researched, but besides that, I don't know much. I don't know much to jump in y'all battle. I'll let y'all have that. But Sheol here now. Why it uses different words? Why does it have grave, hell, pit? Now, why did it use? It says though they dig into the hell. Why didn't they put grave here? Why they dig into hell? All right, and you're saying that it is grave, and though they climb up to heaven, and I think that's why they put hell here because of the heaven. If you said if they climbed up to the sky, which heaven can be, is used different times. The birds of the flocks of heaven. Heaven can be described as the sky. It has multiple meanings, just like hell has multiple meanings. But since they use the heaven here, it kind of, they climbed up to heaven. It kind of sounds like they're trying to climb up to the Lord, just like the Tower of Babylon. And so if we make this heaven, the heaven of the Lord, then we're gonna make that hell more of like an eternal damnation place. We're not gonna make it the grave. Now, if we look down here at 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6, it says, the Lord killeth and maketh alive, he bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. That's the same word. All right, that's the same Sheol. But the translators put in there grave because grave fits better. I know that he ain't talking about no eternal damnation. I know he's talking about the grave. The Lord killeth and maketh alive, he bringeth down to the grave, he bringeth up. And he'll resurrect him from the grave. Does he resurrect from hell? Does the Lord bring him out of hell? Is hell a place that you can be resurrected from? Psalms chapter 16, verse 10. It says, for and this is one of those messianic prophecies. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither will thou suffer thine holy one to see corruption. Are we saying that his soul is left in hell? That he faced judgment and went to this hell? Or is he talking about his grave? His soul won't be left in the grave. His soul won't be left in the grave, but his body won't suffer corruption. Can your soul be left in the grave? And is it worth it? Like, just measure. Sometimes you just gotta measure. Like, is it even worth it? You sitting out here running around talking about there ain't no judgment, there ain't no eternal. Like, do you want to find out? Do you truly want to find out? And a lot of you gonna find out at that last trumpet. A lot of y'all gonna find out, man. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 13. We went over this. Therefore, no, we did. We went here for Sheol. We went here for Hades, but we didn't get what we needed. Therefore, my people are going into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore, hell have enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. Now, I done seen two in other translators, like in NLT, it'll say grave right here. It can be better translated grave. instead of hell. And that's why you have the three different pit, hell, and grave. Depending on the context, is they choosing which word is better to fit the context. And sometimes another translation might say, well, nah, I think grave would be better just to clear these things up. So brothers is not coming up with doctrines talking about there ain't no hell. There ain't no eternal damnation where somebody burns forever for their wickedness. And that's what done happened. Especially because a lot of us tried to be King James onlyists. You know, and you know, a lot of us are getting out of that, but you know, and like us going into the Strongs and going into the Hebrew and the Greek a little bit, we don't have to continue with and make these same mistakes, especially with something like this. All right. The honorable men are famished, the multitude dried up of thirst, therefore hell have enlarged herself. And then, you know, we see hell being described as a woman. Kind of, you know, it's kind of like a metaphor and an analogy. Not literal, but giving us the message of these people are dying. All right. These honorable men are dying. They're honorable. So they shouldn't be in a hell that's eternal damnation. And this is why other people have rather put in here grave. All right. Just do a comparative text on Isaiah 15 verses 4. Isaiah 5 verse 14. And they have, you know, a lot of translators have just said, you know what, it needs to be grave there instead of hell. Because hell gives the application that they're finna face this eternal damnation. And that's not necessarily the place. Therefore, my people are going into captivity because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore, hell have enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure and glory. So, you know, the honorable men are gone, but that don't mean they went in hell. All right. The people who didn't have no knowledge, that's why we went into captivity. But I don't think this hell here fits contextually as far as the end times. They're facing this judgment is doomsday. The judgment's already been given with them going into captivity. All right. Their glory and their multitude, their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. All right. And those that are pumped up and take this thing as a joke, they're going to descend into that thing. Let me try to find this Hades, man. Hold on. Let me find these Hades. No, I'm not. Who? You might be talking to somebody else. Yeah. Let me see 1 Corinthians 5. I just need to find it, and then we'll go through some of the verses that are there. 1 Corinthians 15:5. That wasn't it. Oh, it was 5. Was it 5:15? 15:55. All right. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Here we go. And so we see the grave here. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Oh, grave, where is thy victory? All right. Why is it putting grave instead? Why didn't put hell there? Because it ain't really talking. There ain't no judgment here. Let's read up a little bit. It says, so when the corruptible shall put on the incorruption now. All right. And this mortal shall put on the immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. Oh, death, where is thy sting? Oh, grave, where is thy victory? All right. So ain't talking about the eternal judgment, but death doesn't have a victory if we actually get an immortality. Once we face that judgment, death doesn't have a victory in that. All right. So it's better translated grave. We're not going to put hell there. And you have to understand how these translated, they ain't just throwing random words up here. They putting grave in there and they putting pit somewhere and then they putting hell somewhere because that contextually, they all mean something a little different. Let me look through these. I know we had a few in Revelations. Yes, sir. Death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. What are we doing with that? What are we doing with that? And I know brother was talking about that lake of. And then, do y'all come back from the second death? Do you come back? Verse 13, 20, and he shall give up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in that. And we have to look at that. Let me look at it out because I probably would put grave there. I probably would translate that better, grave, instead of putting hell there. Let me see if some other translations do something different. Yep. This is the NLT. It says the sea gave up the dead, and the death and the grave gave up their dead, and all were judged according to their deeds. Then death and the grave were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death. But let's look at this Hades here. What is the word here? Hades, Pluto. The god of the lower regions, Orcus, the netherworld, the realm of the dead. Later use. See? Later use, the grave, death, hell. The grave, death, hell. In later use. And a lot of us get stuck into that Old Testament only. You know, you get stuck in that season. But later it was used for the grave, death, and hell. A lot of man, you know that thing came from the Greek, man. That was Pluto. They talking about Pluto and Dante's Inferno. And man, that stuff that ain't how that was. But if it's written in Greek, you got to deal with that. It's just you have to, and they're giving you the information. You don't want to deal with it. Just stay out of the blue letter. Stay out of it. Additional information outlined in the biblical usage. The biblical Greek is associated with Orcus, the infernal regions, a dark and dismal place in the very depths of the earth. The common reciprocal of disembodied spirits. Usually Hades is just the abode of the wicked. A very uncomfortable place. Properly unseen, i.e. Hades, or a place, a state of departed souls, grave, or hell. But again, like I said, that Revelations 20, 13, 14, I would have put grave. And you'll see other translations putting grave, so it doesn't confuse the people. And I think that's what's happening. Y'all going here and you thinking that you just want to put the grave, but you don't want to deal with the other meaning of it. It ain't just a grave, you know. And you can pick and choose, but you ain't even picking and choosing. You just saying, oh, well, it just mean Hades just mean grave. That ain't what it just means. That's not the only thing it means. That was Luke 16:23 was where it was at. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment. And see, I would have left hell right there. Let's see if it's still hell in the NLT. Luke chapter 16, verse 23. And NLT, it says his soul went to the place of the dead. There in torment, he saw Abraham. All right, so it didn't put hell, but it put the place of the dead. Oh, death, where is thy sting? We read that. And I looked and behold. But let's get some Old Testament. Well, some of them. Let me see some of the scriptures that y'all brought up. Stop sharing. Well, no. Let's see something. I hope you go into the Hebrew meaning of on this lesson. But Hades, okay. That's why I just said let's go into some of those Old Testament verses. I don't know why y'all think it's gonna say something different. I think that Hades is like a Greek saying. Sheol, I think that's Hebrew also. Hold on. I'll find it. I think you got too many comments here. I don't know if y'all peeped that or not. Did we go? Didn't we go there too? With we went to Isaiah 5, Isaiah 5:14. Let me go back there and see if we can find other verses there with that particular. Yeah, we went to Sheol. That's what I told you. I don't know why y'all. It's like it's the same thing. We went there already. We went to Psalms. We went to Psalm 16. We went to Amos chapter 9, verse 2. We went to Deuteronomy 33, 32. It says, "For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither will thou suffer thine holy one to see corruption." We went into it. What verses y'all want to see? I said it's 4 verses. It's 4 words. Sheol, Gehenna, Tartarus. Sheol, Gehenna, Tartarus. What was the other one? Hades. Let me see that Deuteronomy 32, 22. It says, "For a fire is kindled in my anger, and shall burn into the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations." Is that the grave right there? Deuteronomy 32:22. Is that a grave? We talked about 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 2. It says, "He killeth and maketh alive, he bringeth down to the grave." The writers knew that, hey, that's a grave right there, but it's the same word. Did I have Jude in here? No, did I put Jude? I didn't put Jude in here. Jude 1 and 7. That's what I'm saying, man. I think I done lost a whole slide, man. I done lost like a slide or two. Fooling with this thing, man. Yep. Shout out Hebrew Elevation, man. I forgot. No, I think I did. I think I did read this. No, I didn't. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah in the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after a strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. They're an example. Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, I think we did. It was another verse that we used for that. That was very similar to that. Yeah. But that eternal fire right there. What is that? What is eternal fire? And who in it? Who burning in it? Who being tortured in it? Let's see what y'all talking about here. We may have to go back to the video. It says second death because you died and was risen for judgment, and death was the judgment. Second death. Yeah, but see, you were in the hell. See, when you died, you were in the hell that y'all want to say, the grave. But when you die that second death, you are in the hell that we talking about, eternal damnation. You ain't coming out of that. All right. But when you're risen from the dead in the sea, that Revelations 20 that we read, 14, 13, 14, you're risen out of the grave, out of hell. Same word. You were risen out of the grave and you face judgment, and then you go into hell. Same word, but it's different. And that's why I told you that NLT will put, well, the dead gonna give up the sea. I mean, the sea gonna come out of the dead gonna give up. I mean, the sea gonna give up the dead, and hell or the grave. It puts the grave shall give up the dead, and then you're gonna go into hell if you're not on that right path. If you're not written in the book of if you're not written in the book of life, you're gonna face eternal damnation. You're gonna be in there wishing somebody would put a drop of water on your tongue. You think he just made that up? You think he just throwing stuff out there? Y'all gotta stop, man. And that's what I'm saying. You don't fear the Lord. I can. That's there in all of these passages we've seen, man. You know, fear the Lord, fear Him that can kill the soul, not just kill the body, but who can kill the body and the soul and cast it into hell. That's who you need to fear. So judgment, you getting cast into hell, man. Yeah, and if you just coming in, but we kind of went over that. Even, you know, some of these words we seen that that was originally used, like the Hades and what was the other one? The Hades, Gehenna. When we went to Gehenna, we seen that it said it was originally used as a place where, you know, it was a Hinnom. It was the valley of Hinnom where they burned the animals and they killed and they you know, they killed all the little sacrifice, all the bones. They burned them up. It was a valley that was always burning. Yeah, you can go visit that place. But it was later used. That was later used to define a future place of where judgment happens, and that you'll be there forever. Look up death. Why are we looking up death? And that's our issue. I say you taking on the same methodology of the Sadducees. They didn't believe in no afterlife because they lived a certain life and they seen certain things in the text. But you believe in the afterlife, but you don't believe in eternal damnation. Like I say, I don't care what you call it. And those who took the mark, yeah, we talked about that too. We can't trust the Greek, then you need to throw the Bible away. Unless, like, do you speak? And that's what I'm saying. You're not in a position to say what you can and what you can't trust if you don't speak the language. If you're not fluent, if you're not a Greek professor or a Hebrew professor, you're in no position to say what you can't trust. We got to do the work. And I'm not saying that to try to belittle you or nothing. I'm just saying we have to do the work. I seen Ron Dalton. Deacon said to Ron Dalton, priest of calm, my bad. He said to Ron Dalton, Ron Dalton thinks that Israel is in South Africa. He asked him the question. He said, well, why the text says that Ethiopia is the queen of the South? Meaning Ethiopia is under Israel. He said, well, I don't believe that. And that when you got to say that, when you're saying that, you done. You done. And again, like I was saying in this whole lesson, you can't pour new wine into old skins. And you just refuse to accept it. Ain't nothing I can do, ain't nothing I can say. You know, ain't nothing that Priest Akaka could say to Don Ron Dalton. He said, man, I don't believe that. Somebody messed with that in the book. We can't trust that. And if we can't trust it, man, just throw the thing away. We don't even need to be dealing with nothing we can't trust. Yeah, we went there. You said the Codex Sinaiticus version. And we went to you probably there. You probably watching the video, you probably a little late. But when we get to that point, man, and where the white man did that, and really I check out of the conversation at that point. I gotta check out of the conversation because you done threw all methodology away. We can't trust the book. And you kind of like in a place of where the Muslims try to check our book and be like, well, no, that ain't you can't trust it because it has errors in it. You know what I'm saying? So and then there's there's people who say, oh, well, there ain't no errors or the the KJV is spiritually written. King James was a black man, and we gotta make sure that we keep this thing. Brother said so. Satan was telling the truth. Satan was telling the truth about what? Maybe you're not talking to me. Maybe you're not talking to me. But I say, brother, like, I'm not here to, I just put the information out there, man, and hopefully this thing is edifying. Satan said, you should not surely die. If you torment it forever, he did not lie. Oh, brother. I don't know where you at. I don't even know where you at with that. I don't know where you at with that one, brother. That's not that lake of fire is death, brother. I don't know why you think you still alive. That's death. And like I say, man, you trying to explain something. You trying to figure something out that you ain't gonna know till you there. You ain't gonna know what it is to that fire hit you. You gonna know what it is. But I ain't never seen nobody come out of it except Christ. And even with him, that may not have been the hell that he was in. When he went and spoke with Noah and spoke with those in the days of Noah and before he resurrected, when he was in the grave. You know what I'm saying? So that's even another one. And this too for the like those Christian apologists who are battling the Catholic apologists, the Orthodox apologists, those who believe in purgatory and saying that there's a waiting place where those bodies are, and there's scripture that leans to that, especially in the Apocrypha. And a lot of y'all don't know that. That's why the Apocrypha was removed. That's why the Protestants removed the Apocrypha, because it supported a lot of that Eastern Orthodox, and just the Catholics in general, Orthodox in general. It supported their ideology, and the Protestants didn't want that in there. They didn't want you praying to the dead. They didn't want people praying for you. They didn't want the saints, these venerated saints praying for you, and you having to pay. That was the main issue. You having to pay to get these saints praying for you, and to get the Pope to send up these prayers for you and so forth. And then this whole purgatory thing with these dead being in this purgatory, and you can pay to get to speed it up where your loved ones are not just laying in purgatory. They can go ahead and go to the next go ahead and go to heaven. All right. He says, I don't trust. Do you speak Hebrew? Do you know the definitions? That's what I'm saying. You have to, and that's why we're not in the position. And I'm not just, again, I don't know them. That's why I just got to deal with what they're saying. Because I don't know the definitions. I don't know Hebrew. I can barely try to pronunciate these words. I'm barely pronunciating the English. But if they're writing the dictionaries, they're writing the lexicons, they're creating the software, they have the time to do that. Maybe once we get into this dispensation of the robots, we can do that. What's the brother name? Pastor out there in Texas, man. He ended up sitting down because of some controversy happening. He ended up sitting down, but he's the only black dude. Now I ain't talking about TD Jakes. It's another one that's on the same level as the TD Jakes in Texas. But he's the only black person with a lexicon. No, not with a lexicon, but a commentary. We don't even have commentaries. And we sure ain't got no Israelites writing no commentaries. Where's the Israelite commentary? They writing books on who is Esau. Why don't you break down Genesis, break down Deuteronomy, break down the Exodus, give us a commentary. Brothers writing Bibles and changing the name. Where's the commentaries at? Even if it's just on one book, it's one chapter. You know what I'm saying? Then we say we the scholars of the earth. We don't understand how much work it take. How much, documentation you got to look at it. We don't understand the work. We think we can just get up here and open up the blue letter really trash to compare to what these folks looking at now, man. These folks got software out here costs thousands of dollars a month. Not a month, but thousands of dollars. It may be hundreds of dollars a month. They're spending on like that logos, I know. So it's like, man, it takes a lot of work, brother. Brothers, it just don't come. It just ain't. You ain't finna get on their level watching no videos. You just ain't. And cause I ain't on their level, you ain't gonna get it from me. Who are you watching that's on that level? Who are you watching that's a professor? I think Ron Shields, Divine Prospect, he got a doctorate, but it was given from, Israelite school where they teaching Ron Dalton's book. And we know he wrong. He gonna just say, "Hey man, I don't believe that." Can't pick and choose, man. If it's been messed up, then it's over with. Just toss it in the trash. That's your speculation. You speculating. And if you're alive, you're alive and being tormented. It don't matter to me. You in hell being tormented the rest of your life, or being tormented so you can feel it or whatever. He leave you alive so you can feel it and do it. I don't want that. I don't care what it is. I don't want it. Period. I don't know why y'all trying to fight against it. Bring out the scriptures. All these scriptures I done went over. Just show me where. Nah, that don't mean that. That mean the grave. That's it. Show me where it says eternal punishment, and show me that means the grave. It just means you're gonna be laying in the grave. Or you just have to say, well, I don't believe the book. I don't believe that's saying that. They got it wrong. I don't believe their definitions. Then where you get it was a grave from? You don't believe the definitions. Where did we get that hell is a grave? Where do you think that came from? Where do you think ethnos became? Where do you think that came from? And that's what I'm saying. It's not your friend. I'm telling you that. I'm telling this blue letter is not your friend. Let me go back to this video, y'all. Let me go back here. Share this tab instead. Hold on. The Lord. Like, that's the correction he giving me. The Lord. Thee. You can't say the Lord. You got to say the. You can sleep with the hoes. You can sleep with them. Ain't nothing wrong with sleeping with the hoes. It's just as long as you don't get the disease. You can go over there to that cafe they found Lamont Odom in, the Bunny Ranch. You can go in there and mess with the hoes. He was okay for doing that. It's just, he was selling the black Jesus shirts and yeah, man, Jesus is a black man. We the real Israelites. He was in that movement too, in the Bunny Ranch. He was with one of them Kardashians. They known to be some. They got a reputation out here. He was at the Bunny Man's coked up. So they say. Maybe it was a conspiracy. Maybe it was just because he knew he was an Israelite and they just conspired against him, and then he woke up in the Bunny Ranch with a whole bunch of whores and cocaine dust residue on his nose. Restart the browser. I done lost connection. Shalom, brother. Did the Romans enslave us 2,000 years ago? Or were we a vassal state? Were we a kingdom? In John chapter 8, verse 32, when he said, you should know the truth and the truth shall make you free, they responded back, what you talking about? We make us free. What are you talking about? Make us free. Man, we Abraham seed. We ain't never been in no captivity. What are you talking about? Hold on. Let me get that real quick. And I'm glad he took it back to Romans. Share this tab. Say they answered him. See that? They answered him, we are Abraham's seed. We were never in bondage to any man. How sayest thou? We will be made free. And how they bucking on them? We in bondage. How do we get a military up and try to fight against them in 70 AD in the Jewish Roman wars? And then fought them again in what's that, 130 something with the Bar Kokhba revolt. But anyway, I get what he's saying. All right, that they kind of was over us. They were over us as a vassal kingdom. We was a vassal kingdom. But again, you could see the how they felt about it in the text. They didn't see themselves that way. They see that, hey man, we tried to make a truce with these folks, and now we got to pay them taxes. And we did the same thing to Samaria, but we didn't convert them. We did it to Edom, and we converted them. And we did it to Galilee. But y'all know this. Y'all been here. You know this. But I'm glad he didn't go to. They enslaved us in 2,000 years ago, rather than going to during the Atlantic slave trade. Oh, my bad. Y'all didn't even hear that. I'm sorry. And I say, I didn't come up with I've been for years on this Revelation 13. But I just use deacon or priest of Ka because he's more respected, he's more reverenced than me. And if they'll rather hear it from him, uh, then they would accept it from hearing it from me. There's a respect of persons in this community, and you're showing it right now. Like, who are you? Who set you up? I've been doing this. Da, 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 da. You would talk about a false prophet who was really a false prophet who really prophesied and had you out here saying the year 2000 goes, da, 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 and then nothing happened. Then you got up there and prophesied that I don't know, it was like 2022 or 21. That was the year of the charagma. That was the year that everybody was gonna have to accept the chip. And you lied. And then you want to call somebody a false prophet. You got some nerves, my boy. You got some nerves, elder. He was out here. You connected to 2 false prophecies. And then you call me a false prophet, and 2 days ago you said darn Vladimir Putin is a prophet. That he's a prophet of the Lord. Well, man, what are we doing out here, man? Let me know if y'all could have heard that video. Let me know if y'all can hear that video. I know the first time I was playing it that I didn't have it shared. But let me know if y'all can hear it. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear that you heard the video when I was playing. I don't stop playing it now. But put a 1 in the chat if you could hear the video while I was playing it. Sheol don't just mean hell, grave, or pit. It also means hell. It's three meanings. And we went over all of this. Go back into the video. You got to go back and watch. We went over Gehenna, Sheol, Tartarus, and Hades. We went over all 3 of them. Used for hell, is used for grave, is used for pit. Depending on the context. Is a pit the same thing as a grave? Not really. It's not the same thing, really. A pit is just a hole in the ground. A grave is a hole in the ground where someone is buried. And hell is some tormented fire that's burning your butt for the rest of it for eternity. And I already went over that you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose which one is which. It already chooses for you in the lexicon. Go into the Bravos Driggs or the Thayers, and it kind of lays out those, which ones are connected to pit and which verses are connected to grave and which verses are connected to hell. But you weren't taught that. You were just taught that it was a grave. That's how we know that, we would always use that. If I had my sword, what sword? I had my sword next to me. I could probably pull up that Isaiah 5:14 and show you, and I have 5 or 6 other verses right there by that Isaiah 5:14 where it going to the other ones where I would hit and say, hey, you know what? Hell is not, it's just a grave. Nah, don't play with that, y'all. If you can call it what you want to call it. It's the lake of fire. You can call it the lake of fire, but as long as you understand that you're gonna be burning there forever. There's a place that you'll be burning forever. All right. You face judgment. The wicked will be burning and tormented forever. Can we get a one that we could hear the video? Well, let me go ahead and play it again. Let me just see if we can hear it. It did tell me that my connection was getting crazy. Let me see what he said. What that got to do with anything? When Columbus met the natives, they were all black. Let me listen, man. Listen, y'all. When did they turn native? When did they start looking like Native Americans? Who did they mix with? Or they had to mix with the Assyrians? You can say that. That when they left, they looked that way. That's what you would have to say. When they left, they had long, black, stringy hair, and they looked that way. But we'll talk about that second address, man, because it's a reading comprehension even with that. And even the people that got on that ship, all of them were black. Now, can the Native Americans and the Latinos be Israelites? I believe they could be. But as far as we knowing this and that, all of this stuff by faith for me. Is and it ain't even, that's why he gets into the not going through these genealogies and so forth. And brothers going into their DNA and doing all, it's too much history. It's too much missing history. You can't just go from 70 AD to Christopher Columbus. And then these people back fighting in 132 AD. And all of these people that went back. Anyway, I say, brothers, Elder Sahar don't know the history. I ain't never seen them do no history on 70 AD and where did we go. He probably wasn't taught it besides of Babylon and Timbuktu, which probably they didn't read. Because he said they went and they went up north. Liberia, Algeria. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time, but we just can't go from 70 AD to Christopher Columbus. And where the natives over there. That's a reach. I ain't mad at you, but we do have to be honest and say that's a reach. Anyway. Can y'all hear the video? The video is playing now. Okay, it can't hear it. It might be dead then. Stop sharing. Let me stop it there. Let me stop sharing. And yeah, no sound. Let me see if I present it again. I just try to share screen again. Patience. This what we waiting on. Come on.
This guy is a big head clown. This
Yeah, I
guy
hear
doesn't
that.
know. He's just out there doing what the fuck he want to do, man. He wilding out like Colonel Walter E. Kirks.
Yeah. Now look at these other verses. Look at the other versions. The NIV. If anyone is to go into captivity he will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed. This is really talking about Israel. This is really talking about Israel. Those who captivity for is for. And this is why you're gonna have patience. This is why you're gonna have to have faith.
For you Israelites out here that went to some other camp that didn't come to GMS, and then you say, well, I didn't know the Lord. Look, we told you the Lord spoke to us, speaking to us. If you going someplace else, the Most High didn't open your ears to hear this truth. Point blank, period.
And see, that's what that is. It's just a control mechanism. Oh, if you go somewhere else, he just didn't hear you to hear it. Nah, they finna check me. Or check Priest Hakar, who was actually in there, that was in GMS. You're not gonna check them. He's not gonna check, and he understands this. That's his name is what is the mark? Look at his name up there. What is the mark 666? This whole chapter is about the mark of the beast and accepting this mark. How in the midst of this persecution that we're gonna be facing, and guillotines coming in and cutting our heads off if we don't accept the mark. How in the middle of this we taking people into captivity? And then the very next verse says, then a second beast came out of the sea. And in this class here, we looked at, this is the patience. Hold on. And during that persecution, we looked at this is the patience. Where is it? Hold on. Yeah, right here, Revelation 14:9. All right, and it's talking about the beast again here. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if a man worship the beast and his image and receive the mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink the wine and the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they shall have no rest day nor night. What do y'all call that? What is that? Anyway, I want to say it's the graves. You say it's the grave. Who worship the beast in his image, whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here is they that keep the commandments and have faith of God. You're going to need patience to endure this when they issuing out this mark. And it's the same thing in Revelation 13. It's the next chapter, man. I just, and I just, because we ain't reading. We're not reading. We just been taught that. And I'm working on something that's going to really, I'm going to show you where they got this stuff from. Oh, man. Yeah, and you're right. Revelation does jump around, but that's chapter 14. That's you got 13, then you got 14. And the reason it jumps around, maybe because of different writers. Jeremiah is like that also. Jeremiah is not in chronological order either. Yep, the same must know it after death by pain. Yep, that's a second death. Why do you feel like y'all not finna get tortured? That is not. It's Jokers is teaching that. Oh man, you don't worry about it, man. You can do whatever, man. You gonna resurrect back into the kingdom. And then you talking about the incarnation. Like, when do you face judgment? Why is Abraham? Why is Lazarus going into Abraham's bosom if Abraham been getting continually getting reincarnated? For in death there is no remembrance of thee. In the grave, who shall give thee thanks? Yep. There's no remembrance of thee. And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna show you something, Dookie. Pause. Whatever. But that verse right there is used. And that's why I say y'all need to watch that Elder Yara and Elder Yara and Captain Tazariak reincarnation debate. A lot of people pull this verse to say that, oh, well, when you die, you don't remember nothing. You don't remember when you die. But that ain't what that verse is saying. For in death, those no remembrance of thee, meaning don't nobody remember you. When you die, don't nobody care nothing about you. Don't nobody remember you, man. It's over with. It don't mean that, and that's why John didn't remember who he was. That's what John said. No, that ain't what that's saying. Go read that chapter. I ain't got no sound. Wait a minute, I ain't got no sound. I might have to get up out of here then. View tabs, document tabs. Y'all let me know if I got sound. Let me know if I got sound, y'all. Hit a one in the chat if we got sound. I ain't playing the video right now. So I do have sound. Okay, all praise. But yeah, that Psalm 6:5 is not saying that there's no more remembrance and you're in another body. No, it's saying don't nobody remember you no more. It's over with. And the whole thing. Just read it. Matter of fact, let's go there. And you have to go to all of these verses like this that they're using to establish these points, and they end up falling on their face. They end up falling on their face. What was that, brother? Psalm 6:5. Hold on. Let me go back and see what you put there. Yeah, Psalm 6:5. And I don't, okay, have mercy upon me, O Lord, for I am weak, O Lord, heal me, for my bones are vexed. My soul is also sore vexed. But thou, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver my soul. O save me from the mercy's sake, for thy mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of thee, and in the grave who shall give thee thanks? All right, so who gonna thank you in the grave? Who gonna come to the grave and try to reverence you? Nobody, man. Nobody. You gone. You passed away. You gone. You out of there. I'm weary with groaning all the night. Make I my bed to swim. I make my couch with my tears. Mine eyes is consumed because of grief. It waxeth old because of all mine enemies. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity, for the Lord hath heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord hath heard my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. Let all mine enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. But this ain't no, I'm finna die and come back to life, and I ain't gonna remember that. I ain't gonna remember my past life. Matter of fact, let's look at it. Psalm 6:5. Let's look at comparative text. Let's see what the other text say. Let me put Bible Hub. See, among the dead, no one proclaims your name. Who praises you from the grave? NLT, from the dead, for the dead do not remember you. Who can praise you from the dead? For in death there is no remembrance of you. In Sheol, who will give you praise? And see how they went to Sheol there. They used I think it's probably more of a literal version. For there is no mention of you in death. Who can praise you from Sheol, from the grave? For in death there is no remembrance of thee in the grave. See, KJV put the grave. Now we know that the Sheol can be hell, grave, or pit, but he put in the grave there because it makes more sense contextually. If he would have put, well, who can raise you from who can hear you from the pit? That just means you in a hole. That don't mean you necessarily dead. That you in a hole that's been a pit that's in the ground. Now, if you say who can save you from hell, one may think, well, hey, who can save you from, that eternal judgment that you've been given? But he said the grave, we understand the grave being, that he died and he done been buried. And so this is what the translators are doing. And then some of them just say, hey, man, just Sheol. It is what it is. And they're using this, the Sheol in the Old Testament and the New Testament. Hades, they using it. Gehenna, it's leaking over because sometimes they just wrote Sheol in there. For there is no mention of you in death in Sheol. Who will give you thanks? No mention of thee in death, no remembrance of you in death. There's no remembrance of thee. For in death there is no remembrance of thee. If I die, I cannot praise you or even remember you. For in death there is no remembrance of thee, no remembrance. For no one remembers you in the realm of death. For no one remembers you in the realm of death. In death there is no memory of you. All right, that's it's a literal one. For in death there is no memorial of you. In Sheol, who gives thanks to you? All right, that's. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't even showing y'all. My bad. My bad. All right, but this was what I was reading. You just go to the Blue Letter Hub, and you'll see. You can see some of the comparative text, but you can do it in the Blue Letter too, man. I don't know why I keep doing that, but I gotta get that out of my system. I gotta sit down with the Blue Letter and really learn how to use it better. All right, there's no mention of you in death, but brothers have taken that. Brothers have taken that and used that for. Brothers have used that for reincarnation doctrine. That there's no remembrance of thee, and saying you're gonna reincarnate, but you ain't gonna remember what you did and who you are and all of this. And that ain't what that's saying. That ain't what that is saying. Let me go back to the video here. Hold on. Oh, I gotta present again. Yo, Tahar. But whoever is for is for. Whoever's supposed to be killed by the sword, they're gonna be killed by the sword. This is why you have that revelation. We're talking about these are those who died for his name's sake, who heads got cut off, who didn't accept the mark, who didn't accept and worship the beast.
Whose hand got cut off? Where the fuck is his hand got? What the fuck is this nigga talking about?
I clearly said head. NLT, if anyone is destined for prison, will be taken to prison. Anyone destined to die by the sword will be anyone that's destined to die by the sword will die by the sword. This means God's people, God's holy people, must endure persecution patiently and remain faithful. This is the beast coming out. We're gonna have to read it, y'all. We're gonna have to read it. Can I just go to the chapter? Yep, look at that. What's it? Verse 1. Then I saw the beast in 10 horns, 7 heads raised up out of the sea. Then 10 royal crowns on his head, on his horns, and blasphemous names on his head. The beast I saw was like a leopard, and the feet were like a bear, in the mouth of a lion.
Who's that talking about? Who is that talking about?
And the dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and the great
Who's the dragon?
authority. One of the heads of the beast appeared to. See, he gets off on saying, "Well, what's the beast and what's the dragon?" And his identity is in his doctrine. See, and that's why he feels so. I guess he's maybe even intimidated by me because it's questioning his doctrine, and he is who he is because of his doctrine. I'm not around here calling myself no apostle or no prophet. I ain't telling people to follow me. I ain't telling people to join my camp and come out and do the work with me. I ain't telling people to do that. I ain't trying to build no camp. That ain't my mission. My mission is to get your camp right. My mission is to get your camp on a straight and narrow path. So you can go out and you can keep teaching, and you can keep that camp. And I'm not trying to take your camp. I'm not trying to take your people. And I'm not that threat to you, brother. I'm just trying to teach and make these corrections that a lot of you have looked over. You've been taught certain things, they've been wrong. And we have too much information today. We have too much information. And you had to, back in that school, you could if you taught something different, they would kick you out. You couldn't, from what I've heard. Throwing brothers down the stairs and stuff, different doctrine. That's what I heard. All right. But if you know it, why don't you sit down with these folks? And again, I bring this thing all the way back to the beginning. All of this is stemming from the fact that brother have animosity towards Bishop Nathaniel. And I shouted out Bishop Nathaniel. Not Bishop Nathaniel. I started out one of his captains because of their breakdown. And that got him in his feelings. All right, that got him in his feelings. To be mortally wounded. But y'all can go down here, man. Mark is 6 Mark 2.
I hope you explain it.
Healed, and the whole world marveled and followed the beast. They worshipped the dragon.
When was it healed?
Who gave the authority to the beast, and the worship the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, and who can wage war against it?" The beast was given a mouth to speak arrogant and blasphemous words, and authority of act 42 months. Authority to act for 42 months. And the beast opened his mouth to speak blasphemies against God and to slander. And let me tell you this. A lot of you be breaking this thing down. Well, it's the EU and it's these countries. Then the EU start dropping off certain countries. You say it's the markets, the RFID chip. That technology is outdated. Man, we in the age of robots. We in the age of these doing robots going to be walking around the house, doing policing us, doing all and your eschatology can't change because you got it from somebody else. Your eschatology can't develop. So even when these nations drop out of these different alliances and agreements, which you want to make these horns, you don't come back and say, well, I was wrong about that. We used to name the countries. Oh, well, this Britain, it's but then the BRICS, they don't align with this, and they trying to do this, and then the African trying to make them a union. Stop playing with it, man. And look how many times you've been wrong. Look how many people have dropped out of these certain unions. His name in his tabernacle, those who dwell in heaven, the beast was permitted to wage war against the saints and to conquer them. And it was,
when did that happen? I hope you explain this.
Given authority over every tribe, people, and tongue and nation, and all who dwell on the earth will worship the beast. All whose names have not been written in the foundation of the world in a book of life belonging to the Lamb who was slain. He who has ear, let him hear. Peaches, shout out Peaches, man. I didn't know either. I don't know where he got that from. I don't know where he heard that I was a prophet. I don't know where he heard a prophecy from me from. I don't know where he heard that from. Grave death, Sheol, grave death or underworld. What is the underworld? I say this word can be used for these different things. For a multitude, for different, I ain't saying no multitude, because there ain't that many, but this word is used for different things. All right. And you just can't take Sheol and say, well, Sheol just mean grave. Right there, you lied. You can't just say it only means grave. Oh, Hades just mean a pit. That's a lie. It don't just mean pit. That's partial truth. And he's trying to It says that's my what's that my point? It says, okay, I'm saying we die and we won't have memories, or we can't praise Yah. David asleep, but we remember him. You remember David in the text. You remember David in the text, but you get what that's saying, man. You get what that psalm is saying. Like y'all putting too much effort to try to fight something that's very simple, man. That's a very simple verse. In death, there is no memory of you, man. But you want to make, and I say you want to make it. You know that's verse saying, hey, you reincarnate and and you don't have no memory, even though you see that it's clearly not saying that. And the context is not that. That psalmist is dealing with suffering and praying that his enemies get took care of. I don't. But like I say, man, you can't pour new wine into old skins. You can't. You cannot. So, like me now, I'm not gonna put a lot of effort trying to pour no darn wine. I tell you once or twice it did. We got to dust our boots, man. Is hell already in existence? Possibly, yeah. It depends on how we take it. It depends on what we look at. You know what I'm saying? We read the verse where it said, hold on. Depends on what we looking at. We seen the angels, even the angels were cast down. What was that at? But there ain't been no judgment yet. All the judgment's gonna happen at the same time, besides the elect. But there was a verse we was looking at. Oh, here we go. Tartarus. All right, and that's what I'm saying. Y'all putting up Sheol and Hades. What about Gehenna and Tartarus? Did we go to Tartarus? I think we did go to Tartarus when it looked at that word. Yeah, we did. It said, for God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell. What is that? What is that? And when did the angels sin? Let's just look at it. Oh, my bad, y'all. Wait. Oh, we were looking at it. Hold on. Let me go back to blue letter and then we'll look at that verse. We'll look at it. Like I say, I don't subscribe to Enoch, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I ain't just gonna throw it out and just I used to do it dirty, but I ain't just gonna do it dirty like that until I fully investigate the matter for myself. Listen to these jokers no more, man. Was it 2 Peter chapter 2? Yeah, I should have read all of this. Matter of fact, I started verse 1. It says, but there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false prophets among you, who privily shall be in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, bought with a price, redeemed, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow the pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of the truth shall be evil spoken of. All right, and that's what I'm saying. People gonna speak evil of the truth. That's why I don't even get. Oh, Joe call you false prophet. Say you've been paid off. It's crazy. Like they that important. I just don't get it. I say all the Israelites couldn't fill up the potter's house, man. And we feeling like we pride and pumped up, like we've done something. And really, it don't matter what you do. It's the Lord's doing. You shouldn't be. That's why he gave the parable about the if the servant does, if the servant does what he's supposed to do, is he, should he eat first? Are you gonna tell that servant to come in and eat? If a servant does what he's supposed to do, you're gonna tell him, hey man, sit down at the table and eat with me. No, you're gonna tell them to go in there and wash your hand, go in there, finish, set up the table, wash your hands, set up the table so I can eat. And then you can eat later. But you ain't sitting down with me, still a server. You just doing what you're supposed to be doing out here. You get no reverence for that. Doing what you're supposed to do. Again, you were bought. You didn't deliver yourself. You were bought with his blood, man. You got nothing to be pumped up about. And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgments. This a chain of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. And then listen, this too why, again, I was talking about that purgatory that those Catholics be trying to bring in. They're using verses like this. Let's look at Angelos. And see, just use messenger. You got messenger 7 times. All right, and it goes into messenger. These are the verses where it's a messenger. Messenger envoy. It says my bad, y'all. I'm not sharing the screen. A messenger envoy, one who is sent. You see here in the lexicon, it's gonna give me the verses for the a messenger sent. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send a messenger, and this is the angelos. The translator seen, oh, this is angelos, but he also read the context, and rather than him putting angel in there, he said, no, this is a regular messenger here that's being sent. This ain't an angel at this particular point. This is a messenger. Even though he reading the original text and he's seeing angelos, the translator is having to read this and put it in context and say, oh, well, no, this is better as messenger. You don't get to come in here and do that. Or you can look at comparative text and see what the other translators, but you're not a translator. You don't get to do that. Luke 7:24 says, and when the messengers of John were departed, well, these are people sent by John. We know these ain't angels. So we're not going to put, even though we see angelos here, even though we see angelos, Yohanan, we know that, hey, these folks sent by John, these ain't no angels. This is a messenger. And so the translator writes there, messenger. I hope y'all understand this. Now, angel here. Look at this. The angel, messenger of God. In Scripture, Old Testament, one of hosts of the heavenly spirits, according alike in Jewish and Christian opinion, wait upon the monarch of the universe and sent by him to earth, now to execute his purpose. Matthew 4:6. He shall give his angels charge concerning thee. All right, and saith unto him, if thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee. Now that's angelos there, but he know that he there is the Father. The translator know that he there is the Father, and that this angelos that I see in the Greek here is really talking about angels. So the translator put in there angels. He didn't put messenger. Y'all understand this? Hebrews 1:4, being made so much better than the angels, as he have by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. That ain't just talking about no people. We already know he better than humans. The translator is saying, hey, you know what? That angelos right there, that's really angels. We gonna put angels right there. Y'all trying to retranslate the translator. And you don't have that ability. Not that you can't, but you don't know Hebrew. You don't know Greek. All right, angelos. And so we go back and we look at that. We look at this verse here. We look at this verse here. The angels here. Well, let's just look at the verse. For God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them in down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness. And the question was, is there something now? There's some. It's something here. Also, when we seen um Samuel get called back up by the woman that's dealing with the spirits, man, the necromancer, that dealt with the spirits. She called Saul went and got her to call back up Samuel, and Samuel was in a place that he said Saul would be in too in the morning. When he called him up, he said, "Why you wake me out of my sleep?" There's a waiting place. There's a rest in peace. There's a place. We've seen the story of Lazarus and him down there, and the other brother that was the rich man that was down there. That was across this gulf on the other side where it was hot. It was a flame that was on him, and he was asking for some water. And he wanted to warn his other brothers, like, man, you do not want to come to this place. And that's what I'm trying to do today, man. I'm trying to warn y'all. I'm the rich man trying to get up, but I ain't down there yet. I ain't down there, period. I ain't trying to be down there. Y'all willing I'm not down there. And my name is written in that book of life, but I'm trying to give y'all warning now, because once you get down there, ain't no coming back. Ain't no coming back. You ain't gonna believe Moses. You ain't gonna believe the one who resurrected from the dead. All right. It was another angel in here, and he spared not the old world, but he saved Noah in the eighth person, and the preacher of righteousness. And then we seen Christ go down, and he was preaching. They say he was down there preaching to those people of the day during the days of Noah. But they were able to hear the gospel, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that are after should live ungodly. And this is showing you that too, man. That Sodom and Gomorrah is a ensign, is an example of what's gonna happen to you for those that live ungodly. That fire. And deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of filthy behavior for the wicked, of the wicked. For the righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Lord knoweth how to deal. What is that angel? Was another angel in here? Anyway, I don't think it was. I think we would end up reading this whole chapter, to be honest. So it's an issue. Shabbat shalom, ma. Pastor Roof is in the house. Yeah, we went over that Jude. One in 6, 1 and 7. But again, and that's why they have to fight against this. This really scaring them. Really, when Elder Tahar did this video, it really scared him. It really scared him. In this video, he ran up out of here. He was in here at first. He was in here when I first started the video. He was in here. All he had to ask me about was who is the beast. I got his name and the thing. All he wanted to ask me was who is the beast? Who is the beast? Like, that's gonna keep him out of this hellfire. You gonna know who the beast is. You gonna know what the mark is. It ain't gonna be something. You ain't gonna choose that ignorantly. You ain't gonna choose that by mistake. If you bow down to that image and you receive that mark, you're gonna do it knowing darn well what it is. It ain't gonna be by mistake. That wouldn't be just. But yeah, man, that's really about it, y'all. I ain't gonna, He says distinguish this hell. Christians didn't get everything wrong. That's what y'all. I know y'all want to throw everything out of Christianity. They ain't get everything wrong. They ain't wrong about baptism. These brothers telling you not to get baptized, and they have all these examples of people getting baptized. And y'all up here talking crazy about the baptism. Talking crazy about hell. When we ain't gonna go to hell. We gonna die and come back to earth. And heaven ain't real. You know, the brother tell you heaven ain't real. That this thing ain't gonna be delivered up. That, oh man, it's just gonna be on earth and man, we gonna have all of these women and we gonna be driving in the flash cars and da da da. It said no eye have heard, no eye have seen or heard what's waiting for us. You can't even, your mind can't even, you can't even think it about, you know, what that thing really look like, man. You can't even you can't even imagine it. What's waiting for those that are keeping the faith, that are being obedient. But we want to make this thing, we want to imagine it, and that's why we're making it literal. And that's why we're saying, oh no, man, that's just us being in the kingdom, us owning earth. We love earth. Y'all just ain't in no captivity. You ain't in no captivity. Y'all love where you at. You love America. You love the condition you in. And to a degree you should, because a lot of people doing much worse. It's a lot of people that look like me that's doing way worse. Like early in the video I was talking about some kids running up on the window trying to sell a stick full of rats. Do they have a choice? Some people ain't got a choice. They gotta eat rats. And not just people of our color, man. Even them who y'all saying the Moabites. Them jokers out there in North Korea. I done seen, seen certain interviews with people that done escaped North Korea. And guess who got them out of there? Guess who helped them escape? You can't throw everything out. Praise and worship. We don't do that. We ain't praising the Lord. What y'all praising the Lord with? The rap music? Where y'all holding guns, cussing? That's how you praising the Lord? You think, man, come on, y'all. Stop it. Stop it, man. Stop it. Just reevaluate. Y'all ain't even play no instruments. Reevaluate that thing. But hold on one second, y'all. Yeah, y'all gotta reevaluate that. Right. It's just no reason. I don't get why y'all fighting against that. I don't get why you fighting against baptism, man. It's a beautiful thing. Take them folks down there to the river, man. And you're doing it because you just want to say, hey, man, we know something better than they know something. We know it better than them. We smarter than them, and you can't listen. Nah, man. Now you're talking about it. There ain't no hell for you to be cast into. That all Israel, and you took that all Israel gonna be saved. You took that the wrong way. You took that the wrong way. We'll get into that. Because you got to eat that with all Israel ain't Israel. You got to eat that with a little more. It's a little more on that. You got to put on that spoon before you swallow that. And all Israel gonna be said that Romans 11. You got to know who getting drafted into that tree. That's in the PDF. You got to know who all getting drafted into that tree and who that Israel is. But I just we got to deal with a lot of it's a lot that we dealing with that's problematic, man. And really, it can get you into that lake. It can get you into that lake. Right. Way too cardinal. But y'all, that's about it, man. I didn't, I'm on here longer than I thought I was gonna be on here. And would have been nice if Apostle would have jumped on here and and we could have went over. Or he just him talking about just some of the old school stuff. But brothers just brothers want to throw rocks and hide their hand, man. And I'm sure there's gonna be 50 videos from GMS about this. Gonna be 50 videos. GMS for this video. But I still love y'all, man. I love you too, Elder Apostle, Tahar. But you gotta stop. You gotta let go of the bitterness between you and Bishop Nathaniel. Because again, this is why this whole thing even came about. It wasn't about the doctrine, it was about because I gave praise to IUIC for bringing it out. And to be honest, I've done more rebuke videos on IUIC than anybody probably. So the thing gotta be balanced, man. You can't just be dogging people. Well, I ain't gonna say I'm dogging them out because even the rebuke is love. But when you do something good, to shout that out too. It's something I gleaned from them. It's something that I learned from them. I can shout that out too. I ain't doing this out of hatred. This video, like even me doing this ain't gonna make me stop watching you. And I gotta da da da. And they just false prophets and da da. It don't put me in that spirit. This is just correction. Y'all, I pray this thing was edifying. We'll see y'all on the next one. Blessing pieces, IOCK, man. We'll see y'all on the next one. Shalom, y'all. I appreciate y'all being with me.